Imagine a world where power is not taken but given, where control is not seized but surrendered, where the strongest are not those who shout the loudest, but those who silence the noise around them. Machiavelli, the philosopher of raw political truth, saw through the illusions of human behavior. He understood that certain actions, when tolerated, become chains, and those who refuse to break them will forever kneel to the whims of others. What are these behaviors? Why do they weaken you? And most importantly, how do they reveal the hidden games of power being played around you? Let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to command respect without demanding it? They don't beg for loyalty. They don't negotiate for authority. They simply refuse to tolerate what diminishes them, and in that refusal they become untouchable. Machiavelli warned us, not with fear but with clarity, that there are 5 behaviors we must never accept, not from others, and especially not from ourselves. The first is the betrayal of self-interest for the illusion of peace. How many times have you swallowed your truth to avoid conflict? How often have you traded your dignity for temporary harmony? Machiavelli saw this as the greatest weakness, because the moment you prioritize peace over your own sovereignty, you teach others how to treat you, and they will treat you as expendable. Think of the ruler who pardons traitors out of mercy, only to find the knife at his own throat. This is not wisdom. It is self-destruction disguised as virtue. When you tolerate disloyalty, you invite it. When you excuse betrayal, you repeat it. The question is not whether others will take advantage of you, but whether you will let them. The second behavior is the addiction to approval, the desperate need to be liked, even by those who do not matter. Machiavelli knew that the thirst for validation is a poison. It clouds judgment. It weakens resolve. It turns you into a puppet whose strings are pulled by every passing opinion. Consider the leader who changes his stance with the wind, who alters his principles to please the crowd. History does not remember him. It pities him. Because a man who stands for nothing will fall for anything, and those who seek to control you will always exploit this hunger. They will dangle praise like a carrot, withdraw it like a weapon, and you will chase, forever starving, never full. But here is the truth they don't want you to see. Approval is not love. It is a transaction, and the moment you stop paying, the illusion shatters. The third behavior is the fear of being misunderstood, the compulsion to explain, defend, justify, as if your worth depends on another's comprehension. Machiavelli wrote in shadows, not because he lacked clarity, but because he understood the power of mystery, the strength of the unspoken. When you over-explain, you beg for validation. When you retreat into silence, you demand respect. The world does not need to understand you to fear you or to follow you. The greatest rulers knew this. They spoke sparingly, acted decisively, and let their enemies fill the silence with their own dread. Ask yourself, who benefits from your need to be understood? Is it you, or is it those who would rather dissect your motives than face their own? The fourth behavior is the tolerance of disrespect, the slow erosion of boundaries under the guise of patience. Machiavelli did not preach cruelty, but he condemned weakness, because he knew that disrespect, once allowed, grows like a weed. It starts with a subtle remark, an ignored boundary, a laugh at your expense, and ends with your authority in ruins. There is a reason nature teaches us that predators test their prey. They push, they probe, they wait to see how much you will endure, and the moment you flinch, they strike. The lesson is not to attack first, but to never let the first attack go unanswered. And the fifth behavior, the delusion of fairness, the childish hope that the world will reward goodness with goodness. Machiavelli did not scorn morality. He scorned naivety. Because the game of power does not care about your virtues, only your results. Think of the honest man who plays by the rules while his enemies cheat, who waits for justice while others seize it. History buries such men, not because they were wrong, but because they were weak. The world is not fair, it is strategic. And the sooner you see this, the sooner you stop losing. Now, reflect. Which of these behaviors have you tolerated? In yourself? In others? And what has it cost you? But this is only the beginning. Because understanding these traps is not enough. You must learn to disarm them, to turn weakness into weaponry, to move from theory to action. There is a moment in every person's life when they must choose between what is easy and what is necessary, when the cost of silence outweighs the price of conflict. Machiavelli understood this crossroads better than anyone. He saw that the hunger for peace, when left unchecked, becomes a slow suicide. Consider this. What happens when a king pardons a rebellion? Does it end the unrest? Or does it invite the next revolt? History's answer is brutal. Mercy without strength is an invitation to chaos. Now ask yourself, where have you played the king who forgives too easily? The leader who hesitates? The friend who swallows disrespect to keep the peace? Every time you betray your own interests for the illusion of harmony, you teach others that your boundaries are negotiable, that your dignity has a price. But here is the truth no one tells you. Peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the presence of justice. Machiavelli did not glorify cruelty, but he despised weakness. Because he knew that weakness is not kindness, it is cowardice disguised as virtue. When you refuse to defend your own interests, you don't avoid conflict. You merely postpone it. And the longer you wait, the bloodier it becomes. Think of the diplomat who concedes too much, the lover who tolerates betrayal, the employee who never demands respect. They all share the same fate. They are not loved for their kindness. They are exploited for it. So why do we do this? Why do we trade our self-respect for temporary comfort? The answer lies in fear. Not the fear of confrontation, but the fear of loneliness, of being cast out, of losing the illusion of connection. We would rather be used than unwanted, tolerated than abandoned. But Machiavelli whispers a darker truth. Those who fear abandonment will always be abandoned because predators smell need like blood in the water. So, how do you break this cycle? First, you must recognize the lie you've been sold, that good people turn the other cheek. No, good people protect what matters. And if you do not protect yourself, who will? Second, you must redefine strength. Strength is not aggression. It is the willingness to endure short-term discomfort for long-term sovereignty. Third, you must learn the art of measured retaliation, not because vengeance is noble, but because balance demands it. When someone tests you, they are not asking for kindness, they are asking for limits. Show them yours. But beware, this is where most fail. They swing between extremes, too forgiving or too cruel. The master knows the true power lies in precision, in responding exactly as much as required, and not a drop more. Which brings us to the most important question. What have you tolerated that you should have ended? A betrayal? A disrespect? An exploitation? The answer is your first clue, the first thread you must pull to unravel the entire tapestry of your own compliance. In the next part, we will dissect the second behavior, the addiction to approval, and expose how this hunger makes you a slave to every passing opinion. You will learn why Machiavelli warned that the need to be liked is the death of power, and how to reclaim your autonomy. Like and subscribe if you are ready to go deeper. The most revealing insights are yet to come. Because the game does not end when you recognize the traps. It ends when you stop falling into them.